Joseph in Egypt, from the pit to the palace. Joseph was the beloved son of Jacob, and everyone knew it. His father gave him a colorful coat, bright, woven, and unlike anything his brothers had ever seen. Each time Joseph wore it, jealousy burned in their hearts. But what angered his brothers even more were Joseph's dreams. In one dream, bundles of grain bowed to his bundle. In another, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. "Do you think you will rule over us?" his brothers mocked. Yet the dream stayed in Joseph's heart, planted like seeds waiting for their season. Betrayed and thrown into the pit one day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers in the fields of Dothan. As Joseph approached, the brothers plotted. "Look, the dreamer comes," one said. "Let us throw him into the pit," said another. "Then we will see what becomes of his dreams." They seized Joseph, tore off his colorful coat, and threw him into a dry cistern. Joseph cried out, but the brothers turned their faces away. Soon a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed by. The brothers sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver. He was taken, heartbroken and alone, toward Egypt. A slave in Potiphar's house in Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, the captain of Pharaoh's guard. Joseph worked hard, and the Lord was with him. Everything he touched succeeded. Potiphar noticed and quickly placed Joseph in charge of his entire household. But trouble came when Potiphar's wife falsely accused him of wrongdoing. Joseph was innocent, yet he was thrown into prison, another pit, dark and unfair. Still, Joseph did not allow bitterness to grow in his heart. Even in chains, God was with him. From prison to palace in prison, Joseph interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker. His interpretations came true, but the cupbearer forgot to speak a word for Joseph, until one day, Pharaoh himself had a troubling dream no one could explain. The cupbearer suddenly remembered Joseph. Pharaoh summoned him. Joseph stood before the most powerful man on earth, humble but confident in God. "Can you interpret my dream?" Pharaoh asked. "I cannot," Joseph replied, "but God can give Pharaoh the answer." Joseph explained that Pharaoh's dreams meant 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of severe famine. He added wise counsel: "Let Pharaoh appoint a wise man to store grain during the good years." Pharaoh looked at Joseph and said, "Who is wiser than you, in whom is the Spirit of God?" At once, Joseph was lifted out of poverty and placed in power, second only to Pharaoh. He wore fine garments, rode in the royal chariot, and governed the land with wisdom. The pit was behind him. The palace awaited. Reunion and forgiveness. When the famine struck, Joseph's brothers came to Egypt seeking food, bowing before him, just as in his dream. They did not recognize him, but Joseph recognized them. After testing their hearts and seeing their change, Joseph revealed himself with tears. "I am Joseph, your brother. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many lives." He forgave them, embraced them, and brought his whole family to live in Egypt. From the pit to the palace, the message Joseph's journey shows that God can use betrayal to shape destiny. Prison can prepare you for purpose. What others meant to destroy you, God can turn to blessing. Faithfulness in the dark brings favor in the light. Joseph rose from the pit, endured the prison, and stepped into the palace, because he trusted God every step of the way. Joseph the restorer. After Joseph revealed his identity to his brothers, the entire land of Egypt buzzed with the news: Joseph is not Egyptian, he is a Hebrew. And his family still lives. Pharaoh himself was delighted. "Bring your father here," he said. "Let your family settle in the best part of the land." The joyous reunion. Joseph rode in his royal chariot to the edge of Goshen, waiting for the caravan carrying his father. When Jacob stepped down, Joseph rushed forward, fell on his father's neck, and wept for a long time. "My son Joseph," Jacob whispered, "I never thought I would see you alive." "And now," Joseph said, "you see your son and your son's children." Jacob blessed Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, saying, "Let my name be upon them. May they grow into a multitude on the earth." Joseph the protector. Joseph settled his family in the land of Goshen, a fertile region perfect for shepherds. As the famine worsened across the world, Egypt was prepared because of the wisdom God gave Joseph. People from distant nations came seeking grain. Joseph managed the crisis with integrity. Even as his authority grew, he never forgot the lessons of the pit and the prison. At night he often prayed, "Lord, let me use this power to help, not harm, people." Years of peace. Jacob lived 17 more years in Egypt. Joseph visited him often, making sure his father lacked nothing. His brothers, though forgiven, sometimes feared Joseph still held bitterness. One day they approached him nervously. "Our father asked that you show kindness to us," they said. Joseph's eyes softened. "Do not be afraid. You meant evil toward me, but God turned it for good. I will provide for you and your children." And Joseph did exactly that. Jacob's final requests when Jacob was near death, he called Joseph to his side. "Do not bury me in Egypt," he said. "Carry me to the land of our fathers." Joseph promised, and after Jacob passed away, he led a large procession, Egyptian chariots, officials, and his own family, to bury his father in Canaan. It was a journey of honor and memory. Joseph's later years after Jacob's burial, Joseph returned to Egypt and continued to serve faithfully. The people loved him for his fairness, mercy, and wisdom. Pharaoh respected him as a man of insight. Throughout his life, Joseph taught his children, "Remember the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He brought me from the pit to the palace. He will guide our family long after I am gone." Joseph lived to see his grandchildren and even great-grandchildren. His house was full of laughter and little feet running across palace floors.